Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on PC and Android with Suyu. And Suyu just got a brand new DMCA. If we head to their website, suyu.dev, and click on download, it brings us to their GitLab, which is no longer there. I'm not joking with you, it happened, and here's a copy of some of the messaging from that DMCA. And this is from GitLab. They say, "We have determined that you forked a public repo against which we previously received a DMCA notice." Now, there was a bit of speculation and confusion out there as to where this DMCA came from. Was it from GitLab, Nintendo, or a bunch of trolls? And The Verge here has confirmed that it came from Nintendo. Now, to be fair, The Verge kind of introduces a whole bunch of confusion with their article when they say Nintendo didn't necessarily win the rights to Yuzu's code in its settlement, and GitLab didn't tell The Verge that Nintendo is behind the takedown. However, this is the statement from GitLab. GitLab received a DMCA takedown notice from a representative of the rights holder and followed our standard process. The only rights holder I see in this entire picture is Nintendo. If I am wrong, let me know in the comments below, but I can't see it otherwise. To make matters even more confusing, the Suyu development team themselves doesn't seem to know who's behind this DMCA, unless they do and they're not disclosing it. For example, this person says the Suyu Emulator repository on GitLab was hit with a DMCA by an unknown source, and they think it may be a fake DMCA. So this person compared the wording in the DMCA that was sent to Lockpick with the wording that was in the DMCA sent to Suyu, decided they didn't match up, and also concluded that the DMCA was false. And then there's other Suyu developers out there claiming they're 14, and I don't know what kind of legal recourse Nintendo or anyone would have against them. Additionally, over on GitLab, it appears that most of the Suyu developer accounts have been blocked or possibly even banned. And as for the future of Suyu, things are not looking good. One of the developers says most of the devs use their main emails and names. Most of the devs are scared away from the DMCA. However, it appears that some of the developers are a bit more resilient, or possibly they just flat out don't care. They've put up their own self-hosted repository for Suyu. Now, I don't want to say I told you so, but in a video I put out 11 days ago, I told you so. But I do think that this project is probably going to get DMCA'd at some point in time. It's kind of screaming for it. As for what's going to happen with Suyu moving forward, your guess is as good as mine. I'm going to assume the slow development is going to be even slower now. The developers before were trying to understand the code, and if they did lose developers, well, there's less people to try to learn and understand and improve on the code. And as a final point here, to be clear, I am not betting against Suyu, but if nothing changes, I fear the writing is on the wall for this one. I don't foresee the development team being able to actually improve on Yuzu's emulation. Maybe some window dressing, maybe some settings changes, but the actual core emulation performance I don't see getting better. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. But moving on, and next up we're talking about Retroarch, and I've got a couple of updates for you. The first update here is a brand new core that has just joined Retroarch. It's Vercon32, and it's available on Steam as well. Vercon32 is a very interesting core. They say it's a new game console created from scratch, and it's 32-bit. And there is a video showcasing some of the test games. I'll drop a link to it in the description below. They say think of a Vercon32 as a PSX, but with no 3D capabilities. I'll drop a link to the entire blog post in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. It's a very good read. And the second piece of news about Retroarch is they've just dropped version 1.18.0. This update features a whole bunch of bug fixes, enhancements, and brand new features. For example, they've added an overlay for the mouse, light gun, and pointer. And they've also added in a brand new turbo mode here called Classic, which is a toggle. Next up, we're talking about Relic Castle, and this may be one of the last times we're talking about it on the channel. Relic Castle just got a DMCA. The website is done. For those who may be unaware, Relic Castle was kind of a home for Pokemon fan games. And here's the website now. So it says, "It is with heavy heart that I announce that the Relic Castle website has been taken down following a DMCA takedown notice. Relic Castle has always been a non-profit, ad-free, tight-knit community, and we pride ourselves in what we have achieved. Members have felt at home, made friends, and even careers with us. It is with deep regret that I have to inform you that the forum part of this community, which was to turn 10 years old this year, has had to come to an end. With over 20,000 members and 65,000 posts, Relic Castle was a home to many of us. It is worth noting though, they say the Discord server is not going anywhere and the site is still visible as an archive using the Wayback Machine. Next up, we're talking about Kotaku, and it appears their editor-in-chief Jen Glannon has resigned. And here is Jen's sign-off tweet. Some personal news. I've resigned from Kotaku and Jim Spanfeller is an herb. If you are curious about this one, Aftermath has a pretty informative article about it, and I'll drop a link to it in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. And in that article, Jen says, I firmly believe that the decision to invert Kotaku's editorial strategy to deprioritize news in favor of guides is fundamentally misguided. So it appears that they had a new focus on guides, up to 50 a week. So I guess who knows what we're going to see from Kotaku moving forward. If I had to guess, I would say it's more games, tips, and guides in the right-hand column there. Next up, it appears that Apple is taking yet another blow, and this time from the US government. The DOJ has filed a lawsuit against Apple. So they say this case is about freeing the smartphone market from Apple's anti-competitive and exclusionary conduct and restoring competition to lower smartphone prices for consumers, reducing fees for developers, and preserving innovation for the future. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not quite surprised about this one, given the fact that the EU and Apple have kind of been butting heads, and also Apple butting heads with Epic. And then all of the arguable pettiness involved there. Anyways, we'll see what happens with this one moving forward, but it's not a good look for Apple. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Next up, we're quickly talking about System76, and to be honest with you, I'm a fan of what they're currently doing in the Linux space with Pop! OS and, well, also with their laptops. They just released the brand new Lemur Pro. This one features a Core 5 125U or a Core 7 155U, up to 14 hours of battery life, up to 8 terabytes of storage, up to 56 gigs of DDR5 RAM, and they support the right to repair, which will arguably help extend the life of the laptop. The only thing I don't like about this is there isn't an AMD option. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Next up, we're still talking about Linux, and this time about a distribution you may not have heard about, Regata OS. This is based on OpenSUSE or OpenSUSE or OpenSUSE or subscribe to Mr. Sujano, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And version 24 Arctic Fox has just released. Regata OS is designed to be simple and straightforward, easy to use, geared towards gaming, and great for laptops with hybrid graphics. This one features a Linux kernel 6.7 and I think Mesa 24. While I personally prefer something Arch or Debian based, at the same time there's nothing wrong with OpenSUSE. If you wanted to check this one out, it may be worth exploring. I'll drop a link to it in the description below. And last up here, we're talking about fan game Streets of Rage X. And Beta 26 has just dropped. I'll drop a link to this video in the description below and feel free to check it out. The video description here has some interesting links. This game merges and arguably improves stuff from Streets of Rage 1 through 3 and has a whole bunch of configuration options. On top of that, it's available for Windows and Android. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.